Ah,
Yeah.
even though you can't really see
It's
it.
backwards.
Yeah,
It's okay.
because it's a front facing.
What if I do this?
Still backwards.
I know.
The
I know.
Outtakes.
It'd have to be backwards on
Outtakes.
the
Yeah.
blooper. Just leave it in.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it going?
Well, it's recording, but I can
Oh,
hear it.
okay. Why did you start it like that?
I will. I might have that part.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah. Sure.
Tika, lay down.
She's a bird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Hey everybody, welcome to the Live Courageous podcast, where we talk about all kinds of things to help you grow and live a most authentic, empowered life. Today I'm joined by Roxanne Barabo. She is a self-love advocate for busy moms, a mother of three herself, three girls, I might add, and I'm not a parent, so I don't understand what she goes through, but I can sympathize at what she's been through and where she's come and how she's come to be where she is today. She empowers women, busy moms, to live more authentic lives. You'll hear stories of how she was living as though she felt as though maybe she was someone else, or she just wasn't living up to who she really was. And that manifested into her daily lives, the relationships she had with her kids, with her family, with her husband, and so on and so forth, and with herself. So Roxanne, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Hello. Welcome.
So Roxanne, tell me a little bit more about yourself and why you're sitting in front of a yoga junkie mug.
Oh, because this mug was bought for me from Winners. So that's why I'm sitting in front of this mug. No, because I'm a yoga junkie. I wouldn't really say junkie, but yoga is where I learned about myself. So yoga, essentially what we think of is all these crazy poses, right, that you can put yourself into. And so that is what drew me to yoga in the first place. And then once I continued my journey in my studies into yoga, I realized that yoga is actually the science of the mind. The poses are such a small little part. And letting go of the fact that I can't reach my toes when I bend forward, or that I can't stand on one foot and bring my foot above my head, was sort of a turning point. It's okay, right? We don't have to do all this crazy stuff. So it was really neat because we learned the science of the mind. And so I learned through yoga, through my journey there, to how to love myself and how I was not living in ahimsa, which is a limb of yoga, which essentially means nonviolence. So to do no harm is what that means. But I was living in a harmful state right here. And I learned that through yoga. So in why I am a yoga junkie. It's backwards. That's why I said it.
Yeah. Awesome. So why the focus, and when did it come to be that you realized that you wanted to work with busy moms?
That was sort of a journey that took time. I knew that that I could support women, but I wasn't really sure how. It was a journey through myself as well to kind of figure that out. And then I realized that in taking all kinds of like courses and things like that, and in doing these authenticity tests, I think is what it was called. I don't remember the exact name, sorry. But I realized that my strength is love, the ability to love others, the ability to love myself. And then, so that kind of sparked something there. And then I realized that in that ability, I've learned how to love myself. What am I? A busy mom, super busy with three little girls running around all the time. And wait a second, there's tons of busy moms out there, right?
Yeah.
So in thinking about how I used to be, well, still I'm a busy mom, but I used to be a busy mom that was stuck on being busy, stuck in that busyness where I didn't have to think about anything. I didn't have to think about how I felt about myself. And then once that sort of turning point was when I was learning more about yoga, I realized, hey, like, we got to love ourselves. We have to be kind to ourselves first and foremost before we can with others. So then that sort of sparked it. Love, busy moms, mush them together.
Mm-hmm.
Boom! That's what you get.
And that's what you get.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what piece of advice would you give to a busy mom right now that's been in that position that feels like they're just go, go, go all the time? They always put other people first. And what would you do?
I would say the first sort of thing that I started with is just simply look at yourself in the mirror. Like look at yourself in the mirror, and Chica's making noise because of the birds. Look at yourself in the mirror and just smile. Just smile at yourself, and that's a first act of kindness. And then when we do smile, it creates a real smile after a little bit. So I would just say, look at yourself and smile, and then from there it'll start to blossom. I mean, there's a lot more tips that I can give you guys to support you on your love journey. But if that would be anything, just start with that.
Yeah. So start with looking in the mirror.
Just smiling at yourself.
And almost deciding to choose you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So on that same pathway then, I'm going to ask you a statement or a question, formulated as a statement. This is your statement. If I remember the time that I decided I matter, what would you elaborate on that with?
Okay. So I would say it dates back a few years ago. And it was actually I was stuck and not realizing that I was stuck I felt like I was stuck in my relationship. I felt like I was stuck in a negative space in my head. I was just going on autopilot. So I was just going through the motions, doing the normal family day-to-day lives, but I was stuck up here. And then there was sort of a turning point or a situation that happened with our best friend couple. And it kind of like things got messy, let's just say. But I realized through one of our really good friends that I do have value and that I am worthy. So I need to use this. I need to see from here, and I need to speak my truth with my husband. So the hardest part was then I thought, okay, you know what? I cannot live like this anymore. I'm not going to be 50, 60-year-old and then look back for the last 30 years of my life and say, look, why did I do this for 30 years? I deserve to be happy now. I deserve me now. And stop doubting yourself. Just trust and do it. So then that's when I talked with my husband, and it could have went either way. But for us, we had really strong roots in our tree of life, is what I say now, is that we had really strong roots. Our branches and our leaves were starting to dwindle and fall apart. But together we worked on ourselves and we worked on each other. And that's now when our tree kind of like found the light and it's blossomed.
Awesome.
So I would say I used my voice. It was really kind of hard to say, choking, but it happened. You just got to face your fear. Find your courage. Face your fear.
Yeah, face the fear, find the courage, push through.
Yeah.
Have that difficult conversation.
Yeah.
And that changes for conversations. Yes.
Yeah.
Multiple conversations. Communication is the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For business partners, for relationships, for mother with father, whoever, with your parents. It's all about
with yourself.
With yourself, absolutely. With yourself first and foremost, and then with others, so that you can kind of bridge that gap between what's going on. So how are you currently now investing in yourself?
I do self-reflection all the time. So I think about, myself and how things are going. Of course, are there days where I would still doubt myself or maybe judge myself? Of course there are, totally. But honestly, it's a lot less. It's very few and far between now because I do practice ahimsa. I practice nonviolence with myself. So I would maybe just find gratitude in myself. I am grateful for me, and then blossom from there. And then as well, I do a lot of self-study, but then I also do a lot of study where I read more into all of this, into the science of the mind and into all of the limbs of yoga. So education, I would say. Education for myself.
Awesome. And so my next question is, how do you empower your children to invest in themselves?
I started this thing with my kids where I would, after school, I might say, what did you do today that made you smile? And then they tell me, and sometimes there's days where they're like, nothing. And then that's it. Okay, that's okay. I just accept that, right? But I also do, and I don't do this every day, and I know that I probably should, but that's okay that we don't. But kind of randomly, when I notice they're kind of feeling off, and I would just say, what do you like about yourself today? And when I first started that, they were like, huh? What do you mean? Well, there's lots to like. What do you like about yourself today? And sometimes I like that I like avocado. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
No judgment, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So that mostly, and then just, positive reinforcement, encouragement, and more or less just asking them what they like about them.
Right. So really by asking what you like about them, you're asking them to accept their weirdness. On this podcast, we the Live Courageous podcast, we talk about owning your weird a lot. So owning the things that make you unique. Mm-hmm. If we look at scientific information, we are 1 in 400 trillion. That's the odds of us being here. So I'd like to know, how do you personally embrace what makes you you, and how do you lift other people up to do the same thing?
As far as that goes, I would say I don't anymore, used to, but I don't change who I am for anybody. If something pops into my head that's a weird comment, I just say it. I don't necessarily have verbal diarrhea, but I just run with it, right? And having the ability to laugh at yourself is awesome. You know what? Honestly, sometimes I say a joke and I laugh at myself and nobody else hears me, and I'm like, oh, well, awesome, or whatever, right? You should just say something silly, and I'm myself with everybody. That's what I would say. What do you think, Greggy?
And that's I agree for sure. And knowing what I know about you and what you're doing with other women, it's that message that comes across. Life's going to throw different challenges at you. You're going to be that tendency to be someone else, or to be what other people expect you to be,
right,
or even what you tell yourself other people expect. But ultimately, it's to be yourself in that moment, or in that scenario, just to be, not to try to overachieve to what other people standards of you might be.
So it's essentially letting go of our expectations and just finding the acceptance. Yeah. There are no expectations.
Yeah.
Why should there be?
Do you feel like you were put on this earth as a special gift with a special message? What would that be?
I never used to. No, I used to think that, I'm just, the funny, I'm just the comedic one, or whatever it is. Wrong, but you know what I mean, right? And that's what I used to think. But now I think so. Yeah, I was meant to be here to, have 3 beautiful girls to help, to support them, to empower them. Because essentially, when you think help, I think that I'm helping you because I'm better than you. I'm superior to you, but I'm not. So I'm supporting you. I'm here with you. I'm here to be by your side, not to be one step ahead of you, because we're the same. Mm-hmm. So that did not answer the question, I don't think. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I'm here to support everybody in loving themselves.
Yeah. And your gift. The question. And Roxanne's gift is, like everybody, to be ourselves and to empower other people to do that exact same thing, to really realize that. So, what is one thing you do every day when you wake up first thing in the morning?
Okay, when I wake up first thing in the morning, and I don't do this every day because I accept that putting that pressure on myself, it's okay, I don't have to do this every day, but I have my yoga mat at the end of my bed, and quite often I just kind of roll out of bed and hop onto my yoga mat and do a little bit of breathing, do a little bit of self-reflection, sometimes some personal mantras. And then, of course, the lights get thrown on and the kids run and jump in. And then sometimes I would just sit there, and Gracie would sit on me, or Kaylee would sit on me, or Addison's usually downstairs getting ready, doing her own thing.
Yeah.
And then we would just kind of sit and breathe together. But what I would do every day is look at myself in the mirror and smile and say one nice thing about me. So that's something that's kind of random, that happens every day.
Yeah.
And that's what that is,
Some
self-study, some self-practice, which is, for me, the most important self-practice is the self-practice of my mind, being kind to me.
Right. Yeah, and that's what my next question was going to be, was when do you first have that first smile of the day?
Mm-hmm.
And
7:02 a.m. every single day. No, it's random. It's whenever. It's kind of an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You realize as you become more consciously aware that when you wake up, there's this thought pattern that's running in your head, but you ultimately realize that, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm still here today. I have my 3 beautiful daughters.
I have my husband. I have to say that.
Yes.
I don't have to. I get to.
Yes.
I get to say that.
Yeah. And actually, you know what, I'd like to go into there, because a lot of times we're in this have to mentality. I have to go to work. I have to do the dishes. I have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if we reframe that a little bit and say, I get to,
mm-hmm.
we start to become more grateful of things. So all of a sudden, I get to do the dishes is like, wait a second, I have dishes.
Mm-hmm.
I have running water. I have soap that I can buy from the store. And
mm-hmm.
so there's all these things of like, I get to put the kids on the bus,
mm-hmm.
kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So before I ask my last question, where can people find you online?
Facebook. Hello, Roxanne Barabo, Betty Bo, however you'd like to say that. I created a Self-Love for Busy Moms Facebook group. So if you'd like to, click join, and then I'll add you. Sometimes I've noticed that it adds people without me accepting, but that's okay. I'm totally okay with that. So that's where you would find me. You can send me a private message on there. I do... there's a lot on that Facebook group, so we kind of talk about different things each week. Last week we talked about comparisons. This week we're going to talk about judgments, which is basically comparison's sister. And also do in-house stuff over at Breathe Yoga at Body Max Fitness at our place, which is in Sturgeon Falls, Ontario. But also do online stuff. So if you wanted to kind of connect with me online, I never know where to look, but because I can never find the camera. I guess it's that little black dot. So also on there we can do like live things, right? So with a Zoom call and kind of learning more about that, or we can just do like a Facebook Live, and then each week we would kind of cover different things, but focused on you.
Right. Awesome. So my last question, and the beautiful thing is you have young children that are growing into this age.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to know what advice you would give your 13-year-old self to live a more empowered and more courageous lifestyle.
That's funny that you asked that, because I actually just answered that this morning. And I'm not going to remember word for word what I wrote, but I would say to continue because, or let's say if I'm talking to my 9-year-old self, probably maybe 13, but I would say continue to trust yourself and to know that you are worthy of that. Know that you're beautiful inside and out, because that's going to get ripped out of you. So try not to let it get ripped out of you. But if you do, that's okay, because you'll be back here. What else did I say? There's a lot more, but be yourself. Be your true self with everybody. Don't change for anybody. Be you.
Awesome. Great. So if you want to follow more up with Roxanne, you can find her on Facebook, Roxanne Barabo. She has that Self-Love for Busy Moms Facebook group. I'm sure she's very unbeknownst to herself building a website where she can impact more people. In fact, there's a team of people helping her, that team being me.
What does that mean? Unbeknownst to myself. Like I
I
don't know how to do it. I need some support.
As in you're learning the tools, but you have a support team to help.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can so you can find her on Facebook for now, and we'll continue to build that out as she impacts and empowers not only busy moms, but also the daughters and sons.
Teenage girls.
The daughters, sons, and teenage girls of the world to really just love themselves. So thank you, Roxanne, for being here.
You're welcome. It's nice meeting you.
That was so not us. And thank you for listening. And as always, do everything you can every day to just be and live more courageous.
Take the pressure off yourself. It's okay.
Good stuff. I gotta reach that in.